I wanted to be in an organization that helps to make the world a little bit a better place to do digital business. So my kids and my parents, when they go online, they are not afraid, and they can put the credit card, and they can shop, and should not be so much afraid that their information and credentials will be out there. And when I had the chance to join a company like that, it really protects organizations.
Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Just sit back, relax, and learn from the leaders of today. It's a journey. Each one is different, unique, inspiring. Let's get started. 20-Minute Leaders is a proud supporter of Make-A-Wish Israel and Tech to Peace, and is in proud collaboration with Secret Chord Ventures, J Ventures, Riverside FM, Fusion VC, Birthright Excel, J Impact, Leap, Google for Startups, and Hippo, and in media partnership with CTech. Welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Today, I'm with Yochai Corem, a multi-disciplinary executive with an impressive ability to innovate and lead businesses, products, and projects. He has over 20 years of experience leading sales, business development, product management, and innovation in international markets. Yochai Corem, welcome to 20-Minute Leaders. Thank you so much for being here with me. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you, Michael, for inviting me, and I'm looking forward for an interesting discussion.
It'll be an awesome discussion. There's such a cool career journey. We read your bio to the guests already, but from 8200 to academia to entrepreneurship, Cyberint, Elbit, a bunch of different organizations in between, a lot of organizations in between, and now again, CEO of a company, Cyberint, and you're in the digital risk protection and threat intelligence space, and so a lot to uncover. But where I really want to start, unconventionally, is from I believe your first degree in the Open University, studying history and geography. How connect the dots for me between Yochai, the history and geography major, and Yochai, the cyber threat entrepreneur.
Okay. When I like hiking and traveling since the young age. I was also a tour guide even when I was even in high school. And inside the military service, there is a unique competition, maybe only for the Israeli military, which is knowing your heritage and geography. It's called the Idiat Haaretz.
Yeah.
And I was invited as a young soldier, and it was instead of cleaning the dishes duty. So I said, let's do it. And one exam after the other, I came to win this championship for all of the Israeli Defense Forces. So I was the champion, or the general for Israeli military heritage and history. So I thought, even though I was in a very, I would say, condensed military service, not a lot of time, I could find the time to learn and study. So I said, let's do something interesting with that. I will never be an historian, but I like history, so let's take the time while I have in the military and the Open University to actually take some geography and historical and archaeological courses, and I did so. And actually, it was really, really nice. I love it, and I recommend for everyone to take parallel course, and maybe we can talk about it, towards as we continue the discussion. Have parallel paths in your life that is not only your main career. Always have 2 or 3 other things in parallel. And I think for me, all over the years, it helped me to connect and give ideas that are making me a better person, a better manager, a better professional. So understanding history makes, at the end of the day, Cyberant, and can give you the stages later for that. Maybe interesting. When I won this championship, I thought how I can help with my knowledge, also from the university, but from a lot of working on my 2 feet around the mountains of Israel, how I can help others. And I decided to set up a small website within 8200 and share every weekend a recommendation for the next hike for the weekend for everyone.
Wow.
And I did it week after week. Yeah, so you understand how the history and geography helped me there.
Yeah.
And I sent them to this valley and to this hill, etc., etc. And when I finished my military service, people said, you know what, you must continue with that. So I set up my first project, which was to set up Tiuli. Tiuli is I think the number one website in Israel for leisure and hiking and trip activity for people. And I started to put it in the internet. And while I was studying and while I was working, I also continued with this startup, I would say, and I can share more about it and how it led to my position in Cyberint today.
I would love that. That would be great. Let's do that.
Okay. So, as any entrepreneur, the goal is to identify a problem and to bring the solution to this problem with a continuous evaluation process. So I found that people do not know where to go in the weekend. So I had friends, 20 something years old. They want to go and have a nice weekend in the nature, but they don't know where to go. And not all of them has this guidebook. So when I did it in 1920, 2003, there was books that you need to buy. So I saw there was no good information in the internet, and I decided to write those recommendations in my website. And suddenly this website became with tens of thousands of people going every day to look for ideas. So I added legends about flowers and things that people could teach their kids while they hike. And I created maps. And suddenly it was a big becoming a business in a way. So I added people who can publish and advertise. And long story short, I had, again, one of the main or the leading website in Israel for leisure time and hiking in the weekends, etc. And I wanted to try to connect it to business, and I thought, if I have so many people visiting this website, maybe they can also buy hiking equipment. Today in Black Friday, this is how we shop, right? More than 10 million years ago, it was not the same. I didn't want to handle the logistics, not like Amazon, so I wanted to partner with someone, and I met Ep1002, which has big stores, and I thought to be their digital arm. And long story short, after a few years of working together, they decided to buy Tiuli, and that's what my first, I would say, success
awesome.
with them.
That's great.
So through this passion of history and geography, I wanted to give something to society. And I volunteered a lot gave tons of my time. My wife says it was like it's like she married someone with a baby from a different marriage. In the time of love and investment I put into Tiuli, but it also taught me business. It taught me internet and taught me advertisement. It taught me how to do business development and partnerships, and how to do business and contracts, etc. And it led me to understand, to be a position of a CEO through this, cycle of business, which took, I think, something like 6 years. Still today, Tiuli is one of the biggest places in the website in Israel that you can go and enjoy, a part of Ep1002, a small baby, which is now almost 19 years old. I started this 19 years ago.
It's kind of an amazing feat, creating a product that 19 years later is still used, especially after an M&A. I mean, most M&As fail, right, in the integration phase, and even without that hurdle, building something that people actually need and actually enjoy using, that sustains a whole, e-commerce technological revolution multiple times. How do you explain that? What what's the magic there that keeps it alive? I'm shocked.
First of all,
Facebook isn't even able to do what you did.
I think I have still something to learn from Facebook as well. But I would say in the journey, the acquiring organization Ep1002, I met Yuval Limon, which is the founder and CEO there. And I found that he's a unique person with very similar DNA to myself. And we became friends. So I didn't sell Tiuli to make a bunch of money and go home. I really thought it would be a good home. They can invest more efforts into continue growing it. For 5 or more years, I participated and helped grow the business until I thought that there were really the right people inside. And again, it's the DNA of Ep1002 that I think gave the extra color that was required to get the boost that I wanted for Tiuli. And originally also the product was really, really good. So when you have this good core, it just stayed. And I think still today, if people go to tiuli.com, they see trips that I wrote, the trip guide and the explanations, and it's still true. And people go to Nahal Kazib or to Tzfat or to Jerusalem and they can follow my recommendations of where to hike, and I think it's still relevant every day.
That's amazing. That's great. Now let's transition to what you're doing today with Cyberint and cybersecurity. What's happening there? What got you into this from an entrepreneurial perspective, and how did you so then we'll dive specifically a little bit into what Cyberint is doing.
So I didn't plan to go to Cyberint. I in parallel to being in Tiuli, I decided to be in the high tech. I thought it would be more relevant and effective, and using additional talents that I thought I had. So I did work with different companies in product management and engineering, and then I moved into the business side in sales and marketing. Gave me, I would say, 360 degrees of how an organization works with the different elements and parts that need to be really, really effective together. And one day I got a call from a headhunter, said, we think it's the right time for you to become a CEO. I'm at the board of directors of Cyberint, which we're looking for a CEO for the company. I thought that my background in intelligence and cyber is relevant, and they thought probably as well, and I got the position. So deciding, first of all, just a few words on deciding to join as a CEO of an existing company. Obviously it happens. It's not the traditional entrepreneurial route necessarily. It has its benefits and drawbacks. Well, what were the different? Where was Yochai in that decision making process in terms of what you were prioritizing or giving up potentially? Myself or for the company?
Well, for you, what was it like? What was it for you, sort of the decision-making process?
I worked in a really good company called Cy. That's the sales business there. I was happy, and I really appreciate, the CEO there, Ruby, and the rest of the team. But I felt that I have their needed experience and capabilities and, what I learned over the years to make the shots myself. And this is the difference. At the end of the day, as a CEO, you need to make the calls. You have a very smart team surrounding you, but at the end of the day, the full responsibility is on your shoulders. And I felt that I have the, I would say, capabilities to integrate the needed parts from the company and bring some strategy and some vision to the organization. Again, I didn't do it alone. I did it with the rest of the management of Cyberint and with the help of the board of directors. But I felt this is the right time for me. Already 20 years experience covering different areas. I felt this is the next natural step for me. And when you get these opportunities, you said yourself, it's not very standard. You need to think 3 times before you pass away of such opportunity. It gives you an experience that you will not get anywhere. Even if you do not succeed, still very valuable experience. I'm happy that I cannot say we've not succeeded at this point. So definitely it was a smart decision.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's talk about what Cyberint is doing, and maybe in order to do that, I'd love to get a little bit of a landscape from you as to the sort of the world that we're living in terms of digital risk protection, threat intelligence. What do those things actually mean to you? And we'll take it from there.
Maybe go one step back and describe we are living in a digital world today. People, and definitely COVID did a big push in working from home and, using cloud environments. And hackers also see that, and it has become a very lucrative business. I have a lecture about the commerce behind the darknet. People make a lot of money, and just like in business, there are people who are, looking for big organizations to hack, and they just sell this information. Others just develop malware as a service in SaaS platforms. Others know how to execute attacks. There are really professionalism within hackers group, and they exchange information in a way that there are billions of dollars every year in this area. And the result is exponential increase in cyber attacks. And when you are in the darknet every day, like I am and my team, it is not something which is in the dreams. Okay, there are millions of computers being infected every year with information extracted, and just like we saw what happened in Uber just few weeks ago, This was a simple mistake of one of the employees. It was in the right position with the right capabilities on his computer, and the hacker just made the right steps there. And it happens to many companies. And I wanted to be in an organization that helps to make the world a little bit a better place to do digital business. So my kids and my parents, when they go online, they are not afraid, and they can put the credit card, and they can shop, and should not be so much afraid that their information and credentials will be out there. And when I had the chance to join a company like that, it really protects organizations. And I felt it's really fitting to what I would like to do. And when I wake up every day, and I think everyone in Cyberint, we really feel on a daily basis that we stop attacks. There are so many attacks.
How do you make that? How do you get that feeling? How do you create a culture where people, across the culture feel and resonate with that?
You know what? Just yesterday, I remember we have a new employee. I think he's less than 4 weeks in the company, and I asked him in the kitchen yesterday, how is it going? And he said, it was glowing. And I said, what happened? He said, yesterday I already worked for one of the customers, and I found a small piece of trail, and I pulled the rope, or however you call it, until I found the juicy stuff, and I found an attack that is actually currently going with a very big exposure of a customer information that could be disastrous for this organization. And I was able to identify and alert on time, and they could remediate this problem. This is a feeling of someone within 4 weeks in Cyberint. Okay, so this is not something one in a year. This happens every day, where we are identifying these problems, or we're helping to solve them. I hope I answered the question.
100%. Sorry, just give me 1 second where I just had something crashed here for me. But maybe it's exactly maybe it's exactly what we've been talking about. If you're looking into a little bit into the future, as an entrepreneur, vision, etc. Where are we headed in terms of these threats and the potential solutions? Are we optimistic, pessimistic, realistic? Well, what's happening?
Maybe let me try to answer it from a different perspective. First of all, how do you stop those hackers? Maybe to say, right? This is the question. There are a few approaches to this. One is to build very high walls internally and hope the hackers will not never bypass the walls. Everyone that learns some historical military history knows that the hackers always, or the attacker always, find a way to bypass the lines of defense. So we took the approach of actually trying to identify the hacker using intelligence capabilities before they go to the maximum steps of their actions. We do that by scanning the entire internet and looking from the outside whether there are any windows where the hacker can go in. And the topic called attack surface management. And we are also looking at the open, deep, and dark web. We're looking for commerce and chatter between threat actors to see their intention and information they are trying to sell. And we're also looking for mistakes people are doing and uploading source code with credentials into code repositories and other places where this mistake could be identified by hackers, and then they can try to hack the organization. Our goal is to identify that ahead of time. And now starts to your question, a game of a cat and mouse. So how quick are we to detect the problem, and are we able to tell the organization about it, and they can fix it ahead of time? And is this window, which sometimes hours or days or hours, is effective enough to help the hackers, to help the organization stop the hackers before they make damage? And I think I'm optimistic because organization, first of all, I'm optimistic by nature, which is very important for any CEO, I believe, and that we look at the future and we are sure everything's going to be fine. But also we need to be realistic and to plan to situations where not everything will be fine. But we are able to identify attacks every day, which means our customers see the value. And when they come up to decision, should I pay Cyberint again? They say, yes, I saw what happened last year. I would like them on my side again. And our vision today, we call it impactful intelligence, and making an impact on an organization, not just telling you, hey, there's a problem. Actually, we want to verify that the organization that we provide them with information of the problem are able to fix it and quickly. So we actually measure the time it takes to close the cycle. And we have different ideas on how to do it faster and faster in more automated way. And I think organizations today are becoming more mature. I think the customers of any company demand cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is not any longer, in most organizations, an expenditure that you want to minimize. People understand this is a mandatory capability and maybe even a business enabler. So people will say, I was in Bank Leumi event yesterday, and on their, in the 2 minutes promotion they did for the bank, they said we are the best in cybersecurity. For them, cybersecurity and information and the confidential information to protect is something they put on their advertisement. So this is a business enabler now. So I'm happy to be in part of this transition where cybersecurity becomes business enabler rather than expenditure. And we need to continue to improve how we actually stop hackers before they are able to get in. And as the exponential rise in attacks continues to happen, I think we're in a good position.
I love it. That's really, really cool. Now, my favorite question before I say goodbye. Your biggest moment of delight. If you had to look at your day-to-day, your journey, what is sort of those moments of delight that make it all make it an inspiring life for you to live?
Not an easy question, because I think it should not be just one moment. I feel I have many of those every day. An example of an employee that says, I'm happy I'm Cyberint, or I feel good I'm here. Or a customer that tells me, you know what, thank you. I sleep better at night when I have you, right? This is everything we're doing. And, there are so many problems and battles on a day-to-day that things doesn't work well and you have issues and you need to solve them. And there's those moments of happiness from people that you invest with, employees and customers. These are two things that are more critical for an organization. And I think when I get this feedback, is happy. But I also, maybe to give a different perspective, also I studied to be a pilot. So I'm a pilot today. I always thought you need to have parallel things in life, right? So I'm also in the air with my son. Is also something delightful. So this is part of what I'm trying to do, have multiple things that, interconnect at the end of the day.
I love it. Well, I'm going to see you in the air. I pilot myself as well. And so I'm wishing you best of luck with Cyberint. And I love the insights and awesome story, all the way going back to history and geography. I think that's just, really embodying the true spirit of, the true entrepreneurial spirit and in the most fundamental form of it. So really, thank you very much, Yochai. Wishing you best of luck. Looking forward to keeping in touch and looking forward to continue cheering from the side.
Again, thank you for hosting me. Thanks, Michael.